Hello everyone, good evening, and welcome to Old Iron Garage. Thank you for tuning in. It is chilly out here as the temperature drops tonight. It's supposed to get down to like, 4 degrees or something tonight. Got the kerosene heater going right there. But anyway, I got another project, a new project on the bench tonight. It's a 3-horse Briggs horizontal shaft engine, another one of those, I know. I've done a couple of those lately. Anyways, so this one, if you go back far enough, there's a video. Might be like a slideshow, maybe. I can't remember if it was a slideshow or not, but it showed a haul of free stuff that I had gotten from a friend. And this was one of the engines that I got from him. So, anyways, let's take a look. All right, folks, here it is. It's like I said, a 3-horsepower Briggs and Stratton engine. It's the style that has that style air filter box, the paper element, not the foam element. And it's the style that has your choke right here and your on and off right here. So looking at this engine, first thing I noticed was the fuel tank must have been replaced at some point in time. The fuel tank is gray. The engine is black. So this had been replaced at some point in the past. And then I noticed that one of the black plastic knobs is missing. I tried looking for an extra one because I know I have at least a couple extra kicking around somewhere in a box of parts. I have one of these assemblies here, this lever assembly with the plastic knobs on it, but I could not find it. So at a later time I will continue searching and I'll find that. Excuse me, this decal here was coming loose, so I glued that back on so that when I go to sell this, the buyer knows what these two levers do. This is the glue I use. This stuff is great. It says bonds metal, glass, fabric, wood, ceramic, leather, paper, plastic, and more. This stuff, I've used this stuff. This is my go-to glue right here. I've used this stuff on a lot of different things. I discovered this many, many years ago when I was a kid and building model rockets. This is great stuff. It dries clear and rubbery, and oftentimes you can peel, if you decide you don't want it anymore, you can oftentimes peel it off. But it has a very strong grip. Great stuff. Let's see. Other than that, it's just your typical run-of-the-mill 3-horsepower Briggs. It's complete, minus that one knob missing. Let's take a look in the fuel tank. I haven't really done anything to this yet. I checked to see if it had oil. So, the fuel tank is clean other than a little bit of sediment in the bottom. Nothing to really worry about. It has some old gas in it. Yep, that's old. Give it the sniff test. Anyways, let's dive in and see what happens. Alright, like I said, I already checked the oil. The oil was actually pretty low, so I did have to add some oil. Before I turn it over, with engines that have sat potentially a very long time, I like to lubricate the cylinder before I do much because just to reduce wear and tear. The cylinder, the piston, the rings. So I'm gonna do that now. Get that worked in. Ooh. Well, must have spark. I gave myself a little zap. I didn't even realize I was touching the wire. I did not even think about it. Well, that's a good sign. We have spark. Should we go ahead and throw some fuel in and see if she'll pop off for us? I think we should. A little bit of 2-cycle fuel in a squirt bottle here. This is the style bottle I use for bottle feeding engines that I'm trying to get to run. Whether it is an engine that is not going to run on its own because the carburetor is dirty or clogged, or whether I've rebuilt the carburetor and I'm trying to keep it running to, get the fuel to work through the carburetor. This is what I use. And 2-cycle fuel works fine. In a 4-cycle, if you're just trying to get the thing to run, like I wouldn't fill the tank with it and run it because you're gonna, could foul out the plug maybe. I don't know. You'll definitely have a very carboned up exhaust. That's for sure. So let's see. It's on run. Let's see if she'll pop off and run. Ooh, she kicked. That's a good sign. Hey. Well, that's it, folks. She runs. Oh, okay. No, we're not going to end the video there. We're going to keep playing with it. Let's do that again. Put a little more and see if I can get it to run a little bit longer. A very liberal amount in there. Nice. I wonder if it'll run on the fuel that's still in the tank. Put it on choke. It looked old, but it didn't look like it was so old that it wouldn't run on that. Let's try it again. On. So I got it on choke. We will see if it'll try to run on what's in the tank. That was running on what was in the tank. I wonder if I just add, it wasn't a whole lot in there. I wonder if I just add some fresh fuel to that, if it would take off and run. I'm going to try that. A little smoky in here. Because of that 2-cycle fuel I added in there, and then I had it on choke. Yeah, there's very, very little fuel in there. The fuel pickup tube is just barely touching it. And for anywho, just as an upper cylinder lubricant, but also to help hopefully clean the fuel system, I'm just going to give it a little bit of some Lucas fuel system treatment. Not a lot, just a little splash. I have used that to help free up stuck rings on engines that have sat for a long time. Get it running, it's barely running. You put that into fuel and let's mix that around. Let it run and run and run and run and run. Let it run through a full tank of fuel. And then next thing you know, it's running better. Okay, seems like everything in there's mixed. The old fuel, the new fuel, the fuel treatment. Let's see if I can get it to start just on choke without putting any in the cylinder. Nah, I don't think so. And the carburetor might need a diaphragm put in it. It's hard to say. I have no idea. A little more. This is interesting. I almost never get engines that run this quickly. Oof. Let me turn the fan on for a minute. Well, that was an interesting turn of events. So this engine's already a runner. I really knew nothing about this engine when I got it. So that was all my little drawers with hardware and stuff are coming out on my hardware nut and bolt organizer thing. Yeah, when I got it, I just put it on the shelf with the other engines. There's another one just like this, but it's a 3.5 horse. I got from the same place. Now I wonder if that thing runs. But anyway, yeah, I'm still going to dive into this thing, take a look at it a little bit. So yeah, we'll continue with that in just a little bit. Alright guys, I'm back. So let's dive in a little further and see what we find. The only thing we might be doing to this is servicing it and cleaning it up. I don't know. And it runs. That's good. So this might be kind of a boring video for once. Not saying the rest of my videos aren't boring, but they might be. I don't know. I guess that's up to you guys to decide. So let's take a look in here. We have cobweb in here. Just wipe that out. Get it off of me. So, I don't know if you caught it or not. I forgot to mention it, but this kill switch does not work. You go to shut it off and it doesn't shut off. So that's one thing I'm going to have to look into. The air filter Could use a new one, but I might have one in my stash. I don't know. I have a bunch of new old stock parts from small engine shops. I have a ton of different air filters. Most of them I have no idea what they go to. But anyways, so yeah, I will look. If not, I'm just going to blow that one out really good. And the next person, the buyer, can replace that. Though I will change the oil. I always change the oil before I sell something. Oop. Just dive right in there. Hey, that screw is not even tightened down all the way. It's tight, but it's not down all the way. That's strange. That's something to look into. I'm gonna roll up my sleeves. This hoodie's a little bit on the big side, even for me. And I'm not a small guy, so that's saying something. This is a big hoodie. I ordered it on Amazon, knowing full well that, I can't try it on before I buy it. So, and some clothing runs a size smaller. Well, I ordered it for a size bigger, and man, is it bigger. But I was like, you know what, it really doesn't matter, because I'm going to be wearing it out in the garage. I wanted a hoodie to wear out here rather than that jacket I was usually wearing. Enough of this. Some of them seem to be pretty tight coming out. We'll fix that. The other way. The gasket here looks to be okay, except for one little spot where it's cracked through. Could get a tiny amount of unfiltered air through there, so I will probably put just a little blot of silicone on that. So I'm looking. The kill wire is hooked up. On this end, at least. And the lever does make contact. So why is it not shutting off? Let's get this cover off, because that's where the kill wire goes next. So that'll be a 7/16 inch socket. Here we go. 7/16. Should probably get a magnet tray. Let's take a look in here. I was wanting to anyways, just to make sure there's no mouse nest. Kill wire does go to the coil. It's hooked up. So why is it not? Why is it not shutting it off? Ha! So I just pushed against the kill wire, and it literally just came right out. So it doesn't really, it's not really in there real good. It wasn't really, clearly it wasn't making contact. So I can see what I'm working on. I'm going to have to take this little panel off. This, yeah, I'm going to take that off. Because I don't really want to lay the engine on its side. Come on. Come out of there. There we go. Get out of there. There we are. Whoop. Tried to get away from me. Aha. Got him. So let's just get this choke linkage disconnected and lay it off to the side. Okay. The only thing I can figure was this was just loose in there and it wasn't really making contact. So I bent this little spring tab here a little bit harder so it'll pinch that wire a little tighter. Now we need to hook the choke linkage back up. And we'll run those two screws back in. Then we'll put this cover back on, get it to fire up, and then we'll see if we can shut it down in the method of using the kill switch. Yep, the lever is indeed making contact, so yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. I like to, here in the wintertime, I like to keep a tumbler of hot peppermint tea out here with me. So if I'm out here all day, I'm out here drinking tea all day. While we got this cover off, if you watched many of my videos, you know what we're going to do. It pulls the rope back in, but not like it should. So we're going to take some penetrating fluid. It gets pretty dirty back in there. Gets a lot of dust and dirt, debris build up in there. So to clean it out, I'm going to lube it up. We're going to just spray a whole bunch of this back in there and work it in. Like that. Hey, that pulls back a bit better now than it did. Nice. So now we're going to pour it out into something so we don't make a mess. Wow, that's pretty dirty. And it is going to drip for some time. It's going to make a mess on my bench, but that's okay. By tomorrow, all the excess will be dripped out of it. So now we're going to take a look. Yeah, that's what came out. It went in clean, came out very dirty. All right. So, let's see a little bit more in there. I'm trying to get out what I can. It's less that'll wind up on my bench. A little bit in there. That turns a little more freely. There's a tiny little hole on the end of your starter clutch. It's a good way to get some lubricant into there, because that's metal riding on metal. So I like to put a little lube in there. So let's get this back on. Oh. Gotta get everything to line up. And we just start putting screws back in. That one's going kind of hard. If I have that one out again, I'm going to put some WD-40 on it, because that one went in a little bit hard. All right, well now we will fire it up and see if it will it'll shut off with that kill switch. Hey, sure enough, kill switch works. Choke it. All right, we have a working kill switch. Nice. All right, for now, I'm just going to go ahead and go blow out this air filter. I will be right back. Well, that was interesting. I was using my air compressor to blow this filter out, and got a lot of stuff out of it, but right as I was finishing up, my air compressor kicked on and flipped the breaker, so all of a sudden, everything in the garage shut off. It went dark. Fortunately, I had the kerosene heater going in here. That provided just enough light for me to see, to make my way back to my phone, to call my wife and say, hey, flip the breaker. Anyway, so, yeah, got this blown out. And I'm going to go ahead and get this put back on. Didn't I say something about putting some little dot of gasket maker on here? I did. I just had the stuff too. There it is. I was going to say, if nothing else, I could use that. Oh, geez. All right. For some reason, the breaker keeps flipping. I got to call my wife. All right, guys, I'm back. Yeah, after the breaker flipped again, I had to. My wife called me, and yeah, long story short, she was trying to figure out what breaker to flip again to turn the power on in the garage, and she ended up flipping a bunch of other breakers and not putting them back where they were. So she didn't have power to the outlet that her cell phone charger was on, or our alarm clock. And yeah, it's a good thing I went in and figured it out myself, because she flipped off the breaker that is labeled furnace. It's winter. Yeah, so it's a good thing that I went and checked that out myself, because we kind of need the furnace. So I gave her a little how-to lesson on breakers and figuring out which one needs to be flipped to get power. I pointed out that they're labeled, but this is an old place and not all the labels are correct, because some people have done rewiring, and basically I told her, look, if you flip a breaker and it doesn't fix your problem, flip it back to where it was. Anyway, so let's continue. So I'm going to put a little dot of RTV here, because there is a tiny little break in this gasket. Otherwise, the gasket is fine, and I don't know if I have another one, so I'm not really wanting to replace it. Just a tiny little blat of gasket maker. So now we're going to... don't drop them. Yeah, there's some dirt in here. I'll wipe the dirt out of here. All right, nice and clean. We just don't really want any dirt getting sucked into the engine. A tiny little piece probably wouldn't kill it, but it surely wouldn't be good for it. So we're going to put all this back together. Wow, you mean I don't have to replace the diaphragm and clean the carb? That's impressive, really. Okay, so that one that was tight, but it wasn't all the way down, I just I just ran it all the way down until it was all the way down. So now all bolt heads are fully seated. Goes this way. Yeah. And this, the air inlet goes away from the engine. I mean, you can put it around either way, but it's technically supposed to go away from the engine. Don't need to make those crazy tight. It just needs to be good and snug. So, what else are we going to do? I mean, that's pretty much it. Other than cleaning this thing up, this thing's pretty well sorted. Oh, I'm going to clean up this the output shaft a bit. So I need to get it running. I'm just going to go on it with some sandpaper and some WD-40. Just kind of polish it up, get the rust off, make it easy for the customer to slide, you know, whatever pulley or clutch or whatever they want on there. Put it in the run position, choke. Now that everything is, now that shaft should be good and clean, and everything has jumped off of the bench. Yep, that shaft is, as you can see, nice and clean. Now we just have a little mess here to clean up. Slung dirty WD-40 all over everything. I really like to keep my bench clean as much as possible. We're going to change the oil next. So, I have prepared for that. I'm prepared for that, except for I do not have the oil measured out yet. Let me go ahead and do that, and I'll bring you back. Alright guys, I'm all set up. It is oil change time. The crankcase is nice and warm. When the oil is warm, that's when you want to change your oil. It flows better, and if the engine was just running, then all the any particles or any dirt should be suspended in the oil, so it'll drag that out with it. So, okay, there we go. Let's see here. It's dark, but it's not truly black. You can see it on my finger. It's not really black, and that's because I had to add the. If you remember early on in this video, I believe I mentioned something about I had to add oil because the oil was really low. So, alright, I will bring you guys back when this is fully drained and it's time to add oil. Alright, let's add some oil. I don't have the exact amount measured out. Should be around 18 fluid ounces. I think I have 20 in here. This would be about 15 ounces going in. So now I'm going to take a look. Needs a little bit more. I said around 18 ounces. That's not exact. This one might take the full 20 ounces. It might even take a little more. I don't know. All right, that's full. 20 ounces is what it took. All right, well, I think other than cleaning it, you know what? Actually, there's 2 extra bolts here that are not needed for anything. They're not actually part of the engine. These are to hold, like, let's say, a pump to the engine. So I'm going to remove those. I'm gonna end up keeping those and just throw them in my bolt bin. What? Huh, okay. Weird. The socket that is on there, it didn't seem to fit the first time I tried it, so I was like, that's gotta be it. Does this have enough snot to turn them out? Oh yeah. So these will go in my bolt bin. Well, I mean, I guess this was a pretty boring video. There wasn't anything real exciting about it. She's ready to go. I mean, other than I need to find that other knob to put on here. Other than that, this thing's complete. Shall we see it run one more time? Alrighty, let's see it run one more time. Let's turn the ignition on. Ooh, jeez. So I found throttle adjustment. It's buried down in here underneath the air box, and I moved the lever way down so it'll idle, and I adjusted the idle speed and the air fuel mixture, and she just putts real nicely, idles real nicely now. Seems to still need just a little bit of fine tuning on the air fuel mixture, but I mean, other than that, she's golden. That and a bath and that little knob for the lever, and she'll be ready to sell. Alrighty. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button, and make sure to, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, subscribe to this channel to see more videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Alright, bye.